B and I decided to sag on day 3, so we didn't ride. I did ride out to the beginning of the trace and then turned around and came back to the hotel. We picked up the bag car and the lunch car, and then we went and got lunch for everybody and drove to the lunch stop. And then we just kind of hung out, and the two of us went around and did some fun things just on our own. Went over to some of the Indian burial grounds and checked those out, and just kind of explored the country while everybody else was riding. Now we're going. So I can look at you and Lloyd Campbell. How you doing today?
Talking about driving down the road.
That's right. That's right. Here we are on the Natchez Trace with an extremely old man.
Yeah, last time we did this was going up the backside of Fort Davis.
That's right.
The mountains.
That's right. So how old are you now, Lloyd?
How old am I now?
Yeah.
78.
78.
Kind of hanging in.
He's hanging in. We're talking about his 80-year-old ride. How we're going to celebrate his birthday. When you get to French Camp, you're going to find that it's a small town. There's not a lot there, but you'll check in at this building, and then the bed and breakfast is over here. And then when you're ready to have dinner, it's not much to eat, but there is dinner, and it's in this building. They close early, so when you check in, you might want to make sure that you know when the restaurant closes so you can get in and get something to eat. Those of us that stayed in the main house at the bed and breakfast were fairly satisfied with our rooms and the meal. Those that stayed outside in exterior cabins were less than satisfied. I mean, it was okay, but for one night. But if you can, try to get a room inside the main building. Up to now, we've ridden some pretty heavy miles, a couple of 60 and then an 80-mile day. And so this day, by design, is supposed to be a short day. But what I did is I left at daybreak. I rode out to the drove out to the lunch stop, dropped the lunch car, and then rode back to French Camp. The rest of the group slept in, had a late breakfast. And they had a lot of miles in their legs, but because I had been sagging quite a bit the first couple of days, I felt good. So I came back to French Camp, rode back, picked everybody up. We rode as a group out to lunch. And then B got in the lunch car and drove it to the destination, and I went ahead and rode in. So I ended up with an 80-mile day, and the rest of the group had around 50 or 55 miles. So, we stay on the trace, and then after lunch, we end up going on a main road to our hotel. So it's not that bad. It's a pretty good ride. One of the things about Mississippi is most of the counties are dry. So if you like to have a beer or wine with dinner, it makes it tough to find that. So right here is where we went on the road and into Houston and stayed at a fairly nice hotel. It's 6:30 in the morning. I sagged out today, and then I'm riding back. Now I'm going to pick up the group. So sometimes it's kind of nice just to get out and do your own thing. So riding with the family's fun, but sometimes a guy or a gal just needs a break and some time to do their own thing. Good morning. That's what I'm doing today. 1800s, many thoughtful Americans believed that isolation and the difficulties of communication would force the Mississippi Valley settlements to form a separate nation. Hoping to hold the frontier, Congress in 1800 established a post route from Nashville to Natchez. The trace, then a series of Indian trails, had drawn from the Secretary of State the bitter comment, "The passage of mail from Natchez is as tedious as from Europe, when westerly winds prevail." To speed the mail, President Jefferson ordered the Army to clear out the trail and make it a road. Post riders carrying letters, dispatches, and newspapers helped bind the vast, turbulent frontier to the Republic. However, their day passed by the mid-1830s when steamboats running from New Orleans to Pittsburgh robbed the trace of its usefulness as a main post road.
We should rent horses here right here.
This is the back of our lunch car. It's a nice chest and bread and peanut butter and jelly and Pringles and that sort of thing. So this is what we have in the back of the lunch car. Mile 222. Hey, say something.
We're halfway there.
All right.
Mile 222 and all's well.
And look at this one over here.
Taking a picture of everyone. Okay.
All right, guys, way to be.
Okay, I want one.
Halfway. Halfway.